So we won't be back to the view for a while, but we're excited to share all the great works today. We're going to kick it off with the American Beautiful by Aaron Miller and Kate Atkins.
So we gather each week to experience this club, this community, where we are reminded, challenged, and strengthened to serve others. To be in service above self is to put others first, to think of others before ourselves, to have purposeful lives that are true, fair, building goodwill, and are beneficial to others. As we hear reports today about the strength of our club, help us to remember that our real strength is in how we serve others and make a difference in the world. We pray in all the holy names of God. Amen. Now join with me before we test the words that the high schoolers so eloquently shared with us and back to us last week. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
So we're going to hear from Bill Stilley, the guests and the visiting Rotarians.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I could once again welcome you to Cincinnati Club. If I could once again welcome you to Cincinnati Rotary Club 17, the 17th oldest club in the universe. I'd like to welcome one guest, prospective member, guest of Jim Younger, Katie Brash from Cloverdale. Welcome, Katie.
Thanks, Bill. We want to bring up Cheryl Parker. We want to thank Cheryl for being a beacon of light in our community, being the CEO of AAA. I know that I use AAA for the last 20 years. It's a great service for whether you're traveling, whether you're in service, or just being a support system for a family. It's a phenomenal organization. So we appreciate all that you do for sponsoring Rotary Club Cincinnati. So let's hear more about AAA, and thanks again to Cheryl Parker.
Thank you, President Harris, and good afternoon, Rotarians.
Good afternoon.
AAA is a proud sponsor of today's meeting, and we're proud corporate members of Rotary. AAA and Rotary share a long and rich legacy of service. Not many organizations can say they've been around since the early 1900s. AAA was founded in 1902, back when we had horses and buggies on the roads and transitioned to the automobile and advocated for safety on roads. And today we have
Speaking of new members, let's get to know Holly Hansen. Doug Bolton is going to introduce Holly for today's meeting.
Thank you, President Eric. So, Holly, why don't you step here in the middle? So Holly is the reason why a few years ago we started Due Days. She is a native Cincinnatian. She has lived in Manhattan and New Orleans. She grew up in a small family. Her grandmother, whose nickname was Buzz, started living with her when she turned 5 years old. She graduated from Indian Hill High School as a product of Indian Hill schools since kindergarten. She graduated from Xavier University with a bachelor's degree in business administration and marketing, went on to the University of Cincinnati, got an accounting degree, and then became a certified public accountant. There's a few of you who will remember that Carl Lindner acquired Chiquita Brands International and then decided to move the corporate headquarters for Chiquita from New York to Cincinnati. Holly was the first employee that Chiquita's controller hired to help with the transition from Manhattan to Cincinnati. So she got the pleasure of essentially putting together the transition plan, working in Manhattan for about a year, and then brought the Chiquita team to Cincinnati. She continued to work at Chiquita for almost a dozen years. She helped a group move an office from New Orleans to Cincinnati as well. During that time, she also had the opportunity to travel to visit Chiquita's remote banana plantations in the Caribbean islands, Hong Kong, and Japan. That experience with integration and transition caught the eyes of Synergy. So she moved to a financial role with Synergy as it was beginning the process of being sold to Duke Energy out of Charlotte. And so she did the same kinds of things for Duke and Synergy in Cincinnati and Charlotte. While there at Synergy Duke, she also made a pivot into human resources. And her last job, her capstone job, was at Johnson & Johnson, working in the Ethicon medical device business out in Blue Ash. And she helped that organization with a number of acquisitions and business integrations and working specifically as an HR partner in supply chain. So just an amazing career in both finance and HR. She retired a couple of years ago, started getting involved in the community in a deeper way. Her church group, she joined the Women's Civic Club, has joined a gardening club, plays a few rounds of golf, and she also volunteered at Stepping Stones, and it was there that she saw a sign for Due Days. And so she came and joined us at our meal packing event in Norwood, and she was blown away by Rotary, the community of spirit that we have, the spirit of community that we have, as well as all of you who have been so many years members of Rotary and the common bond that we have. So it was because of Due Days that she decided to join this club. I will also say she is a lifelong Bengals fan. So let's give a warm welcome to an amazing
Gina, all right.
All right, so it's 8350476. 8350476.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. So close. Please keep Rotarian Tom Noonan in your thoughts and prayers as he has outpatient surgery on Wednesday, March 12th. That he will be home resting for the few days after surgery. Please also help us congratulate Rotarian Deborah Schultz as she was honored by the Greater Cincinnati World Affairs Council. The event celebrated International Women's Day at the New Riff Distillery on Friday, March 7th. A few of the dates to remember: we have 2 hands-on service updates. We need a volunteer on March 19th for a Fruit Bowl project. Please contact Felicia Rinaldi to assist with the delivery of fruit. And we also have an announcement of the hands-on service Gamble Montessori Elementary, March 22nd and/or March 29th. Work to make simple trail improvements and create outdoor classrooms. Please contact Jim Neidhard regarding availability and questions. Jim, you want to raise your hand? See Jim after the meeting. Our next Rotary Happy Hour will be held on Thursday, March 20th, from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Fred Ward Ring at Factory 52 in Norwood, which was right next to Pickleball. If you remember, it was Saturday. RCP and DAC-DB, fresh from the presses, the board approved a new name change. The now is Rotary Connect. So all are invited and to happy hours and coffees, and appreciate the group really looking for the future. We have the neighborhood coffee on Tuesday, March 25th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Views Cafe on Harrison Avenue, RCP and DAC-DB. And for the Euchre players out there, we will be holding the next Euchre Meet event, March 25th, hosted by the Brentsteaders. All levels of playing ability are welcome. Arrive at 6:30 p.m. Play begins at 7 p.m. RCP to Mary or Bob Brentsteader over here today if you want to talk more in detail. So for our program today, my duty is going to change a little bit. I'm going to be the kind of the hook, like the old gong show the old days. We have a number of discussions from our leaders in our great club, and we're going to kick it off with Gina Washington to talk about fundraising and fun.
I didn't want all that noise in your ears, so make sure I do that first. All right, so my name is Gina Washington. I have been assisting Chelsea on the fundraising efforts for Rotary Club of Cincinnati. So get ready for something new. The Rotary Club of Cincinnati is thrilled to introduce our first ever Rotary Derby Day on Saturday, May 3rd. So we're bringing the spirit of the Kentucky Derby
And of course, we're encouraging everyone to dress to impress. Ladies, bring out those big, bold hats. And gentlemen, it's time to suit up with style. This is more than just a party. It's a fundraiser with a purpose, supporting the incredible work of Rotary Club of Cincinnati. More details are coming soon, but for now, mark your calendars, spread the word, and get ready to celebrate Derby Day like never before. See you May 3rd.
Now with an update on the special activities, we have board member Josh Vogel, who attended his first live board meeting. So congrats, Josh. And a lot of exciting things to talk about. And just as a reminder, the format is to showcase all the great works. We will have, if we have time, as we wrap up, we'll have some time for Q&A. If not, we can do Q&A after the meeting at post 1:30. Hand it over to Josh.
Hello, Josh Vogel, the newest board member, and I'm excited to be here today. So, I oversee the committees that are for police, fire, chief, or the sheriff's, and CPS recognition, as well as Camp Allen Balloon Rides, the professional development series that we host, the Rotary Picnic, which is back this year, so we'll give more details then, and also Rotary 2 days. So, special thanks first to Michael and Allison for putting together our recognition. Be on the lookout here. In our future club meetings, we'll be having a couple more of those. We've had a couple already this Rotary season, we have more coming. And then there's a couple of pictures here that you guys weren't in attendance. Camp Allen Balloon Rides. Special thanks to our committee chair, Mark, for organizing this event this year. It'll start again on Tuesdays in the summer. Please come out and support and enjoy that beautiful weather that's coming in the summer soon. Professional development series, we've had a lot. I've listed some of the ones that we had here for this Rotary calendar year so far. We have more to come. Thank you to Bob for chairing all of this, and please attend those in the future. Look out for some future new ones. As I mentioned, the Rotary Picnic is back. Esteban is our chair. He's looking for committee members, so anyone out there that wants to help Esteban is a planner and wants to help with our picnic. Still fresh ideas, trying to figure out, but it's going to be a family fun event out at Camp Allen, and look for maybe late August, early September date. And then lastly, 2 days is back. It's going to be the 16th, 17th, and 18th. Mark your calendars. Special thanks to Kelly and Lisa for organizing this event again. Again, last year we helped out 35 plus nonprofits and have over 500 volunteers, and excited to see what Kelly and Lisa put together again for this year. Thank you.
I'm Bill Stilley, and I am the fellow who's in charge of the club meetings. And during our last round of questions for you about what you thought of the club meetings, it was an overwhelming success. And the reason is I really didn't have anything to do with it. But I had some. But the reason that we do like it is because the chairs are absolutely amazing. A program committee with Al Conchas, Vacations, Drake Hall, Sergeant at Arms Gary Baldwin, Leader Committee Ben Busby, and Music and Special Media Stephanie Shear did an absolutely phenomenal job. We had great ready greeters and still marvelous music, spectacular special speakers. Here a couple of the reasons. Brad Weinstrup, our first breakfast meeting spoke to, and the Cincinnati Reds pitcher, the lead pitcher, Red Sue, spoke. So thank you very much to all of our committee chairs who are here. Thank you for doing a spectacular job.
sit on the clock because he wanted to be on time. Okay. So my name is Ed Mathis. I am over the youth programs here. Oh, it's right here. I'm sorry. So this is a couple pictures. So the picture right there on the right, that's from the UC Rotary. They had their annual Thanksgiving dinner, and it was awesome. So I'll get to that in a second here. So I'm over the four-way speech contest, Ryla, youth exchange, interact, and UC Rotary. And this year they all have done phenomenal. So we'll touch on this. So last week, a lot of you were here at Rotary. And got the chance to see the four-way speech contest. Every year, this is always phenomenal. This is how when I got into the club, it was the first committee I got involved with, and I'm so excited that it keeps getting better and better every year. And as I was telling our board meeting today, Councilor Anika, she was saying that she would love to come back again. She loved the program, so I'm excited that we keep going that. Okay, so Ryla, Ryla is the objective is for the committee to select high schools to attend a weekend program over at Camp Kern. And this year they selected two through the leadership of Don Cashman over here. He leads this phenomenally. And we have a student from DePaul Crystal Ray and a student from Norwood High School. They will be attending this, so they'll be representing us there, and so we're rooting them on to get that program underway. So thank you again for that. And also, if anybody had anything to do with the four-way speech contest, if you wouldn't mind raising your hand, because that was amazing. All of the coaching. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, UC Rotary, that's our Rotary Club of the college campus. We've had it for a while, and Alexia Ultra and Tony Ultra, they really took this underway a few years back and really grown this. I tried it when I first got here. Brother Mark gave me the orders to do it, and I couldn't get 5 souls there unless I bought $60 worth of pizza. And they get hundreds and hundreds of people to come to this dinner every year. So I just wanted to I wish they were here. I'll give them we can give it to, I know they probably watch it, we can give them a hand clap for all the work that they do. I'm amazed, they say next year, they're already anticipating having 600 students. This thing started in one little room, giving out pumpkin pies. Me and Steve King were there, and now they have close to 600 people attending this thing every year, so I'm excited to see how this thing continues to grow. Oh, and they also are doing they're doing a speaker series there where they're getting us from the club to come up to the UC Rotary Club and speak. Brian Bowman, he spoke, I spoke last month. If you would love to speak and kind of share your lessons in business or lessons in nonprofits, please reach out to Tony and Alexia, and they'll get you all set up. And so Youth Exchange, we're in a bit of a transition with this, but it should be coming back here soon. We're excited about it to release some more details on it. And the Interact Club as well, we're getting that all geared up and getting things moving in that direction. So thank you, and please continue to support the Youth Exchange, our youth programming. It's important to keep those people when they get exposed to Rotary, and hopefully they become Rotarians to Club 17 here in the near future. So thank you.
Preston Miller. I'm in charge of the social committee. And bowling. Everybody thinks you have to be good to bowl. No, this is not true. Bowling, it's on a handicap. So if you're a terrible bowler, but you can improve slightly every week, we need you on the bowling committee. And so Gary Kendall and Dave Lucky are very, very involved in that. Rotary After Hours, we're going to have a meeting on, I think it's going to be at our house, unless somebody else wants to show off their house. That'll be on Friday, April 11th. And then euchre. I went last month and played euchre. And I was going to tell you that euchre is to bridge as pickleball is to tennis. But then last week I saw some vicious pickleball players. But nonetheless, I had never played before, and I don't think I humiliated myself too badly. And Mary and Bob Brandstetter and Linda Booth are involved in that. The red light table and the 131 club, those are for people who have a drinking problem. And it's been a little bit difficult to help people with their drinking problem recently. But Ryan Vielhauer and I are working on this. So stay tuned. And then finally, golf. We had a wonderful golf outing last fall at what's the name of it called? In Avon Fields with Ron Dumas. And one of the things we're sort of thinking about, if people would be interested, is maybe putting together maybe a couple of foursomes on every Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock for those of us who would like to get our game going a little better, which means you have to play a lot. But the problem is if you're playing a lot, you're oftentimes playing with people who know how to play golf. So this would be a solution to that problem. So, nobody pays any attention to scores, but here is head and Gary Kendall going over the scores from the last week. And here's our head pin, Gary Kendall, polishing his ball. And the other thing, you realize that bowling, it's about 2 hours of non-stop exercise. It's like playing basketball or soccer. And here's an example. And the other thing I've been tasked with is Rotary Beyond Club 17. First thing, that if you're not on myrotary.org, pull out your cell phones at the end of the meeting and sign up for myrotary.org. That's different from .db. Secondly, not only are we Club 17, but we're in District 6670. The district gala is coming up on April 25th. It should be great. It's at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in one of the hangars. And then coming up in October is the Rotary Leadership Institute, which happens every year. And that explains all there is to know about Rotary. We're also in a zone, and we're in the Heart of America zones, which work together, 30 and 31. And there's going to be a Zone Institute in Columbus, which is easy to get to, on September. So if you can't get to the Calgary International Convention, go to the Zone Institute. And then Rotary International Calgary Convention. How many people have been to a Rotary International Convention? Oh, yeah, they're great, aren't they? Yeah, so it's in Calgary, which is not real close, but at least it's in this hemisphere. Rotary Foundation. How many people donate to the Rotary Foundation? Okay. Anybody who doesn't, send them $5, and then you will have a new friend who keeps talking to you. And then the other great thing about Rotary International is there are Rotary action groups, like the Rotary Environmental Rotary Action Group. Anything that you are passionate about, there's a Rotary Action Group for. And not everything is actually totally serious. For example, there are Rotary Fellowship groups on photography, beer, scotch, bowling,
Director Greg Hartley, who couldn't make it today. So, I want to talk about the World Affairs Committee. So, it's a very exciting time to be part of World Affairs Committee. We are in the middle of a 4-month period when Cincinnati Rotarians will travel to 4 countries on 2 continents, all in the service of others. As we speak, 4 Cincinnati Rotarians and 3 Rotaractors are just about to begin a week in Ghana, where they will deliver textbooks, student desks, and other educational materials to schools in rural communities. Also traveling soon is Linda Booth. She will be leading a vision screening mission in Uganda. Interestingly, she will serve some of the same schools where we have helped install solar panels. In May, Nancy and Jerry Reese will fly to Jamaica, where they will participate in a house build with our partners Food for the Poor and the Rotary Club of Kingston, Jamaica, and scout out a larger project we hope to begin in the fall or next spring. All 3 groups will bring back stories and photos to share with our club on their return. But what I really want to do today is brag about the recent trip that 6 of us just had to Guatemala. On February 18th, we began a 5-day service trip to the Central Highlands of Guatemala. Centered mostly in the colonial capital of Antigua, we went out each day to schools and other locations. We were generally greeted by hundreds of students and teachers with singing, dancing, and other pageantry involved. We presented them with school textbooks, educational supplies, technology, and other goodies. Some of us spoke Spanish, others like me did not, but we all enjoyed the celebration. We then usually had time in classrooms or computer labs to learn what the Guatemala Literacy Project had brought to these schools. This allowed us to have one-on-one interaction with the students. This is when I really got good at using Google Translate app. I can say without qualification that GLP, our partner in this project, brings the students and teachers vital resources to raise the educational standards in Guatemala. GLP has done its part to cut the illiteracy rate and school dropout rates substantially over the 25 years that they have worked in Guatemala. There is no doubt in my mind why Rotarian support throughout the U.S. has been so strong with GLP. Finally, our time in Guatemala allowed us to see a country with a lot of natural beauty and experience a culture rich in history and hospitality. We enjoyed plenty of time interacting with each other as well as the other 25 people on the tour, including several Rotarians from around the U.S. I highly recommend joining the World Affairs Committee on a future journey like this. If you are interested in being part of the fun and the service, just let us know. Thank you.
Welcoming, informing, and assisting new members is crucial for Rotary. I'm Pat Miller, and I am responsible for the new member onboarding committees. The new member review committee, co-chaired by Brad Green and Bruce Bradstetter, met on the first Thursday during this Rotary year to meet prospective members and their sponsors. This committee's role is to hear from their sponsors and themselves about their backgrounds and why they want to join Club 17. It is amazing the collective talent and experiences we are privileged to hear. Once that process is completed, the committee discusses and approves their applications and forwards their recommendations to the board for action. During this Rotary year, the committee has approved 33 new member applications. In addition to those duties, the committee acts upon requests for changes in status and membership. Our next committee chair needs no introduction. The new member orientation committee is artfully run by past president Michael Shanahan, affectionately known as the membership czar. During his session, she will experience how welcoming he can be as he reviews policies and procedures minimum has held a monthly scheduled orientation in addition to flexible meetings. He has arranged for those who are unable to attend scheduled sessions. Each member is provided with a new member manual and advised that they will be assigned a new member advisor. At the end of each orientation, he gives out an assignment to each new member to find a friend or coworker that they might also benefit from membership of the Rotary Club. Hosted by our very own Sarah Patterson and Christy Sussex, the new member reception is held twice yearly in March and in October. New members and their spouse or guests will attend in a more relaxed setting and have the opportunity to network and celebrate their commitment as a new member. Starting off with a welcome from our president, Eric Petway, and a brief review of our club history by past president Steve Tabor, members will have a deeper understanding of why their participation is so important and vital to the goals of Rotary. Additionally, there will be opportunities to learn about some of our new committees and how to become involved immediately. Our next reception will be held at the Carnegie Center on Tuesday, March 18th from 5 to 7:30. And finally, Roadmap to Success. This committee's goal is to engage and retain our newest Rotarians and to ensure their smooth transition as a member of Club 17. Past President Pete Armstrong, our new member coordinator, has done an outstanding job the last 2 seasons. In this capacity, he was tasked to recruit more experienced Rotarians as advisors to assist new members with competing activities on the roadmap to success and encourage engagement in the club. Pete has been instrumental in starting the first new advisor and member group meeting to discuss ways in which to improve the new member experience. Pete is not here today, but I want to thank him personally for his dedication to this task. And finally, upon fulfilling the necessary requirements, new members will be invited to a formal meeting where their new member tags will be officially removed. Our next formal removal tag ceremony will be held on Thursday, March 20th at our regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Chuck Marks, and I get the honor today to chat with you about membership growth and development. And, you know, the core of what we do, we have to have members, we have to have active folks, and our objective is really to try and make Rotary irresistible not only to you, but also to all your friends and your acquaintances, so that, hey, when next time you see them walking down the street or you see them at an event, you say, you know what, you really need to be part of Rotary. And so we have general recruiting and marketing, and that's led by Michael Schatzman. Member retention with Dan Long. Sometimes people's roles and activities change, and they start to look at Rotary that, well, maybe I should look at moving away from Rotary. And Dan's group does a really good job of talking to folks, and we work with flexibility to try and make sure that we make Rotary work for everybody. Rotarians at work with Patrick and Andy. Carol does women in Rotary. And then young professionals, Taylor Long and Ben Busby have taken that over. Eric alluded to it just a little bit, but we are changing the name of that group from Young Professionals to Rotary Connect. And the reason that we're doing that is because we would have our happy hours, we'd have some other events, and when things were sponsored by the Young Professionals, we had a lot of Rotarians that actually said, oh, I didn't know I was invited. I didn't know I was supposed to be there. So we're trying to be more inclusive, and so you're going to see the term Rotary Connect that's there, and these gentlemen are leading that committee. And the good news is the committee has now grown to 5 members, so it's working great. All about really what Rotary is about, fellowship and fun. And we're really trying to create a lot of options for you, as our members as well as upcoming members, to look at different ways to provide service as well as fun. Looking at our the monthly coffees, so if you can't make it to lunch all the time, show up at a monthly coffee. The happy hours, if you can't make it to some meetings, show up at a happy hour. Our next happy hour is going to be next Thursday at Fretboard, as was mentioned. Also, Rotarians at work, getting out and allowing people to learn more about what the Rotarians are doing that are in our club. So, then connecting and learning. And I just talked about the outreach that we're trying to do, retention, and the family of Rotary. I don't know how many times it gets announced here at the podium about someone having a health issue, someone having the birth of a granddaughter or a grandson or a child. That's what Rotary is all about. This is about building our friendships, and that's what we're trying to do. So please, get involved. Look at it. If you've got ideas of things that you think would make Rotary more interesting to your fellow members or to other potential members, we are all ears. We want to make that happen. Thank you.
All right, so my turn. So at the end of the day, the strategy for my year and then years beyond is what we call G5. As a reminder, changing the guard. I shared this similar view of going over the bridge. We're on a great side of the bridge. We want to cross over the bridge and be even a better, bigger, and greater club. So G5 is the growth of both the club and the foundation. And our goals are to set for the next 5 years 12 net new members per year for the next 5 years. And on the next slide, we'll report how we're doing. We're doing well. We have set up a brand new corporate lunch program, which started in January, where we're hosting business leaders from the community in a smaller environment. And I just want to announce that we just had one of our big wins. One of our members who attended is now going to sign up as a new member, and he's going to join from. He's actually a Brandsetter, so we're going to have 3 Brandsetters in the club. Larry Brandset, 4. So I think you win the family prize. So that's been a big success, and we're going to continue to build that out. If you have names or corporate leaders that you want to recommend for that meeting, please reach out to Sarah Patterson. We're also doing more coffees and happy hours, and that we're getting flow as well. We've had almost 500 prospects that are coming in each year, whether that's through these meetings, through our corporate lunches, through our happy hours, and for our coffees. So we have a large funnel. The key is to close those so we bring in new members. The second part of G5 is to grow the foundation, whether that be from the local project fund or the pickle draw, and to get new donors to the Rotary Foundation so it grows even bigger and bigger. Those 2 pillars are going to be the future of our club. And it's going to continue with Lisa, continue with Ed, and we're going to select, as a club, we're going to select a new president nominee in the future, and that person will take that banner as well. As far as our structure, we meet monthly, and we report out to the board on a monthly basis. Chair is Michael Schatzman, back in the back there. I want to thank him personally. He brought in 10 new members last month. On the growth side, we have Chuck Marsh and Dan Spittle. Dan left the club, but we still have a focus on the youth side and the retention. I can't say enough about this. If we bring in people and they all leave, then there's a net zero gain, right? So we have to be as diligent on the retention. So what we've done is we've set up a early warning system. We find out from the office who we think has the potential of leaving the club. We reached out to them in person, emails, phone calls, bring them to meetings, and bring them back in the club. And I have to say, we had the lowest loss in the last due cycle in the history of the club. So we are doing well there as well. So where we're at now, we've added, within this Rotary year, we've added 2 new corporate members. We've added actually 33, that was updated this morning, new members. And our goal is to get to 42 new members, so only 9 more in 3 months. We know we can do it, help us out getting there. We've noticed, we've had a lot more young professionals, and we've had a lot more flex members. that's been really the winning combination. I know Steve was instrumental in that change, so thanks Steve for that change many years ago. And I also wanted that our new retention program is something that I'm very proud of. We reduced the loss, and we don't want to lose anyone, but they're leaving not because of reasons they don't like the club or don't find value. It's because their company may not pay for it anymore, or they're moving. We are monitoring this on KPIs every month by the board, reporting out, and we have a monthly G5 committee. So we created a structure for success, and each board going forward and each president and executive team will carry this torch. The goal is to make sure that every meeting we can fill the rafters here. We're very pleased to be in the view. I know that's got a lot of great spots. We'll be back soon. And we look forward to future meetings where we can fill the space, and actually, in a perfect world, we would outgrow that space and go to a much bigger venue. But our goal is to grow. And I want to hand it over to my partner in crime, Doug Bolton, to talk more about corporate memberships.
So a big shout out to our corporate members. This is a group of 19 folks who have stepped up to help us plan a number of events, and we really appreciate their participation. This group also helps us achieve our goals, and so I have a specific ask for this session right here, and that is our corporate membership program essentially gets you 3 memberships for the price of 2. So if you are in an organization, represent an organization, where you would like to have someone else from your company participate in Rotary from a leadership development standpoint. Let's say you're trying to bring up some new leaders in your organization, or you know your organization is trying to develop new leaders. Why would you not convert your membership from maybe a single membership to a corporate membership? You would get 3 spots for the price of 2. And the price of the 2 essentially could be flexible depending on how you want to do that. You can adopt our flex membership, you can do the active flex, you can do the young professional flex. So there's lots of ways that you could essentially do those 2 memberships, but you get that 3rd membership spot for that senior leader in your organization that maybe can't come to Rotary every single week, but you know they would appreciate being here, and they would be good for you to have them in our club as a named member of our club. So last year, we grew our corporate membership after this event. Sarah's challenge to me was, Doug, you've got to use this meeting to get people to join. We need roughly 16 new members before Eric's year is out to be able to hit our goals. So I'm looking to this group in your organizations who can step up and join that list of 19 corporate members. The other opportunities I want to mention is just the corporate member roundtable gets together and plans events. So the panel discussion that we had with the senior leaders, AFTAB and Julie and Jeff Birdie, that was a corporate membership production. So that group gets together, thinks about programming, thinks about issues that corporate members want to essentially convey to our membership, and I encourage you to be part of that. I'm going to stop so that Bob Ranstetter can give us the financial update.
Thanks, Doug. I'm Bob Ranstetter. I am the newly installed treasurer. The last time I was a treasurer for the organization was my son's Cub Scout troop. We have a $3,000 budget. I think I wrote a dozen checks for the year. This is a little different. Also, I want to mention that Don Keller is taking up as treasurer of the foundation. 3 things on the cover today. First thing is that the club and the foundation changed our accountants this year. Clark Schaefer Hackett, who's been our accountant, They identified a conflict of interest with one of our board members, and they stepped down. We looked at a couple different accountants. We looked at Blue and Company and Barnes and Dennett. They both looked very good. They both sent us references from club members that we were able to talk to. We picked Blue. I picked because they were cheaper. I think that might have been the consensus. But anyway, we now have Blue and Company. They did a club review. They also did a foundation audit, which I'll let Don cover later time. But I basically just want to go through. I am not a certified public accountant. I'm an engineer. And the weekly board meeting, monthly board meetings, we get a profit loss statement that's outlined in our bylaws. I found them very hard to read. So I took advantage of the fact that we changed it to QuickBooks. We looked through all of the budget items. This is just a summary of all of our income. There's about a dozen subcategories under the income and expenses, and there's about 2 or 3 dozen categories underneath that. We went through and lumped together things like, well, membership, our income doesn't come in very evenly. You just look at the stuff in the QuickBooks, they just split it out evenly for the 12 months. We went through and we identified our membership, our lunch and incomes, and then we tried to identify our expenses. So we're now able to report on a monthly basis for each month how we did on income and expenses versus budget, and then we can look to see how we're doing cumulatively for the year. Well, right now we're 2/3 of the way through the year. We are a little bit over on income. We're 107% on income, and we're about 94% expenses. So we're basically running to the good. I wanted to go ahead. West Bottom, my predecessor, gave me the expense and revenue history for the last 5 years. I went ahead and added in our year-to-date. What's shown on the far right side is the first 8 months. That's 2/3 of the year. You can't extrapolate that to 3 halves because, for instance, most of our revenues come in for the year. But we are still projecting to run a positive cash flow for the year. And lastly, I want to talk to you about our club assets. They've kind of bounced around a little bit, but in 20 we took a loss, and in 21-22 we took a loss due to COVID. We are looking positive so far this year. But I want to point out to you that our club assets right now are about $700,000 versus our annual expenditures, which we are budgeting to be about $500,000. And noting that we have more than a year's expenses on hand, we're going to look at a couple things for next year's budget. First of all, there's about a half dozen items that the foundation has been paying for over the last few years that really are truly club activities, things like RILA, the four-way speech contest, the police and the firemen and the teachers' recognition. Those really don't fall cleanly into the foundation's purview. Those are really club items, and we are planning to move, or looking at moving those over to the club. That's only like 2 or 3% of the total budget. That's not a lot of money though. The other thing we're looking at is noting that we have over a year's expenses on hand. We are looking at allocating some of those funds towards our G5 effort, towards recruiting new members. And I think to William Moreau's it said, if we're not growing, we're dying. So we're going to try to focus next year on continuing the G5 effort that Eric just outlined and is doing a great job on. And that's our plan for next year. That's it.
All right, you excited about our club assembly? A lot of great reports. We are the best club in the world. Even though we're 17, you're number 1 in my heart. So we just wanted to display what we do on a regular basis. Sometimes we forget all the great works that we do. We want to celebrate it twice a year. And now we get into Sarah asked me for some time for Q&A. So what we're going to do is going to have everyone that spoke, you can have line up here, and the members can ask you questions. Firing squad, yeah. And if there's no questions, we leave early, but it's your choice. We have a question from Nancy. Well, the question is, under the G5, there's the foundation growth and the club growth. Technically, the Board of Affairs is within the foundation budget, so that does encompass all of the growth as well. On the foundation side, I've been working a lot with Brent LeVar. We've been meeting frequently. I know Lisa and Wes are going to meet as well, to really think about broadening our base of donors. It's not just for World Affairs, but all the parts of the Rotary Foundation. We have World Affairs Committee, we also have Local Projects Fund, and then we have the General Fund, so there's a lot of different buckets to give to. Question? I'm going to repeat the question. The first question is, does the board encourage members to attend? Historically, it's a closed meeting, but we do have a history of sending out the summarized notes from the board meetings. And I'll turn it back to Sarah on for distributing that at the board meetings. Yes. But part of the process that we've designed is that each one of these great board members has committees that they work with. The role of the board members to really be the advocate for the committees, to be the problem solvers, to be part of the committees to resolve problems. If something cannot be resolved, it can then be brought to the executive team. In the past, people with problems would come back to the office, or they would come to the president. You can imagine if there's 300 members coming to Sarah, that's not going to work. So we do want you to work within your committees if it's committee specific, and then the board members and the committee leaders can work together on a bigger problem. They can go up to the higher levels if there's a bigger problem, bigger issue. But that's kind of how we designed it. Any other questions? We have Mr. Schatzman.
Who can sponsor a member into the club? How do they do it?
Anyone here, anyone not in this room can sponsor a member to the club. And I'm proud to say that we've had, even with Schatzman's great work this year, which has been phenomenal, that's why you're the membership czar. We also have diversified. There's been many members that have sponsored members. So anyone in our club, and we want you to do it early and often, can sponsor a new member. We just want to make sure that they're truly going to be Rotarians for the long term. That's all, vet them, you know what we're looking for. Any questions for the board members who are standing up here?
It's a great question. The question is, how do we break through the wall to get more of the companies that are in Cincinnati back and part of Rotary? So Eric mentioned the corporate luncheons that we're having on a monthly basis, and so February, we had 3 people there, or January, we had 3 people there, March, we had 4 people there, February, we had 4 people there, March, we've got 2 who are scheduled. So we're breaking through that system. Actually, next month, next week, your board is going to do a little exercise at each of the tables that Lisa Lickard has essentially brought to us, where we're going to be asking you some questions at the tables with respect to who do you know at companies, and try to spend some time. This board is going to try to spend some time with you in a private Zoom meeting or in a physical meeting if you want, to kind of find out who you know in corporate Cincinnati that ought to be a member of this Rotary Club. It's a great question, but it is absolutely the answer to how we're going to grow and get back to being the place where corporate decision